Hey gang, thanks for stopping by. I'm the People's Fabricator. This is Punk Uncle Guitars. I'm going to break this project up into two videos. We'll start with removal and we'll do another video of reinstalling. Start by heating up these frets before trying to pry them out. It helps reduce the tear out of the grain of the fretboard. I like to use the side of that barrel. It heats the fret up quickly. Just takes a couple seconds. It really transfers the heat in a hurry. And then use these end nippers that I modified by sanding the face of them on a belt sander until the cutting edge is absolutely flush and it sneaks under that fret edge pretty easily. Damn cats. What do you do? Yeah, so lint roller sponsors, you know what to do. Okay, back to the task at hand. Whoa! Unnecessary.
Extreme close up! Whoa! 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 Excellent extreme close up.
Okay, that's better. This is going pretty clean so far on tear out. The last one I had a little bit of tear out, but I didn't have the nippers trimmed and modified the way they are now, and I think that was contributing to it. I mean, I realize it's not rocket science and it's not car chases and explosions and shootouts. These are just some of the techniques and methods I'm figuring out as I learn how to do these. This is my second one, and so far this is working pretty good. Speed this thing up a little bit. It's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. You just got to take your time, make sure you get these nice and warm before you try to take them out, and it goes pretty easy. And on these nippers, I'm not prying up on the fret itself. Just by squeezing it together, it gently ramps up on the cutting edge of the nippers and lifts out by itself. So I'm not actually prying that or prying against the fretboard or against the fret in any way. That's just the natural shape of the nippers doing what they do as you close them. You don't want to mar the fretboard or the... Well, I'm trying to be careful with these frets because the goal is to reuse them. So I'm trying not to mar them or squeeze them or cut into them as I'm lifting them out also. That's why it's important that they're very sharp and the front edge is flush. If you want to modify a set of these, we used to call these bull nippers or bull nips, where they cut on the end like that. That's what I've grown up calling them. But this is a small pair And if you want to modify your own, you just use a belt sander and sand the face of them until the cutting edge is flush with the face. Little warning ahead of time that I lost the footage of one side of this binding removal, so I only have the one side and the end of it in footage. Really struggling with my memory and storage on my phone right now, so I apologize for that, and I appreciate your guys' patience. I know the quality of these videos have kind of dropped off a little bit, but we'll get it figured out. I appreciate you being patient. I'm having to recalibrate myself because I'm used to, metal fabrication and welding where the stuff is throwing sparks and loud noises and making it happen. And this is very different. So I'm figuring this out now. Also trying to figure out how to break these projects down into bite-sized videos and not do too much in one video and saving some for the next. There's a lot to it. I respect the guys who do it well, man. There's some really cool channels out there, and it's fun finding them. Yeah, I would encourage anybody who is you have a guitar, you play guitar, you've had one for a while, you understand your instrument, but if you have some So these frets came out really easily. They didn't get marked up at all from the nippers. And I'm going to try to reinstall them, reuse them. And I'm sure that makes luthiers and old guitar guys everywhere just cringe and their eyes are rolling out of their skulls. But we're going to see how it goes. Okay, let's take this binding off. I like to use this scraper, putty knife, or whatever you want to call it. And it's not too sharp. If it's too sharp, it likes to cut into the grain of the fretboard. So it's just a little bit on the dull side, but it's just sharp enough that it will separate the binding material from the fretboard without gouging it or tearing out any of the grain too badly. Just have to take your time. So here I'm using a pinstripe brush and I'm just applying some acetone to the top edge of the binding, hoping that it'll soften that adhesion that it has to minimize the tearing out. I'm displaying those pieces of binding there in such a way that you can see whether or not there is any tear out. And you'll see here in a few minutes that we do actually have a little bit of tear out. This wasn't quite as effective as I hoped it would be. My phone ran out of storage halfway through this task, so I only got the removal of one side of the fretboard, so you'll have to forgive me for that. But you get the idea. You see there, we lost a little bit of the fretboard material that stayed deposited on the binding. That's what we're fighting. Whoops. Gouged out a little bit of the neck there. We'll crazy glue that down. No big deal. Just trying to score it a little bit to get that started. Because of the angle of the grain is slightly diagonal, if that starts to tear out, it grows. It'll start at zero and it wants to run or grow. So you got to be careful to catch those. And we get 3 or 4 of those on this side, and I have to glue those down. The top edge is always a little more challenging because of the fret side marker dots. Otherwise, this would come off in one piece, typically. Oops, might need that later. The acetone and the paintbrush actually ended up working pretty good. Give it a 5 out of 10. I guess that's okay. Not quite pretty good, but definitely better than without. Get this last little piece off and then pull those fret side marker dots out with those nippers. Clean up the edge with a nice sharp square file, and get her ready to reapply. Like I said, sorry I don't have the footage of removing the other side, but it was basically the same thing. It's not so riveting. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up, and I'll see you guys soon when we start rebinding this bad boy. Thanks for hanging out. Now go rock out on your guitars.